3, 2, 1.
Have y'all seen the TikToks that China is putting out about all the secrets on how luxury items are made, and they're just slapping the names on it?
And we end today's show about luxury bags carefully handcrafted in China. Turns out your quote-unquote made in Italy luxury handbag might have more ties to Chinese factories than to Tuscany.
The way China is spilling the beans on these luxury brands, okay? But the DH girls try to tell y'all. They try to tell y'all, okay?
None of this jewelry on my arm is real. Don't love me because of no diamonds. Take all this. This bracelet right here look real as a... This shit was $23 on Amazon.
Turns out that $800 handbag, that luxury artisan cookware, yeah, that all cost $7 to make in China. Your favorite woke corporation, they just slap their logo on it and sell it back to you for 100 times the regular price. And here's the kicker. The same corporations are out here crying about Trump's tariffs, claiming it would ruin business. No, what ruined business is out here lying to Americans while outsourcing jobs.
Some of Hermès products are made in China. Towels are from Fuyue in Shandong. They also make products for Chanel and IKEA. Beddings are from Yue in Shandong. Men's shoes are from Shachi in Shandong. Tableware are from Gaochun in Jiangsu.
It was my first time shopping at Hermès, and let me tell you how it went.
We got a lot of requests, do Hermès next. And that's why we're here in the Highland Park Mall.
Made in Italy, made in China, or maybe made in Chile. Oh yeah, that should be a thing, by the way, because some brands get real creative when it comes to made in.
Pandemonium has erupted at Hermès. Overnight, reports claim the luxury giant secretly hacked prices in every corner of the world. Right after Chinese factories blew the lid off of truth the brand prayed would stay buried. Those very suppliers Hermès depended on for decades are now spilling a billion-dollar secret, and the revelation is ripping through the fashion scene like an earthquake.
I've never seen so many Hermès bags lined up in front of me, let alone try every size and color on like I'm in Walmart. Best part is there's no sales assistant stalking you, no upsells, and you're only paying 20% of the price. These only range from $250 to $500. That's a steal. Manufacturers are exposing luxury brands for what the bags actually cost.
Hermès, you guys, it's time to show off your factories. No, I don't want to wait to go on YouTube and watch a beautiful documentary and show them off right here on TikTok. Let the world see. Okay, get like China. You gotta be ghetto about it. Just let people know.
For their sweaters or like jumpers, they source from Changshu Sophia West Sweater Co. For their puffer jackets, they source from this company, Quanzhou Lulusen Fushi, Quanzhou Lulusen Garment. For their nightgowns, they source from this Shantou Longhu District, Jingzhi, Shantou Longhu区 Jingzhi Maozhi Chang. So if you're interested to get the same supplier as Zara, these are the options. All of these companies also sell their clothes like to individual customers, so you don't have to make bulk orders. You just need to find them on Taobao.
These factories aren't cheap knockoff mills. They're the very workshops that stitch the authentic Hermès masterpieces. Every coveted Birkin and Kelly, the same trophies that fetch upwards of $20,000, rolled out of their doors. Now those artisans are stepping into the spotlight, exposing what truly hides behind the glamorous Made in France label, and the fashion world is gasping.
If your Hermès says made in China, does it feel cheaper? No, that's not a quality issue. It's luxury brand washing.
Luxury devotees never saw this coming. From slick tricks and phony labels to leaked factory videos and exploding TikToks, the shiny myth of elite European craftsmanship is crashing down. And Hermès, the brand is racing to plug every leak, but the flood has already broken. The truth is roaming free and it's not retreating. So here's the simple breakdown. For decades, Hermès peddled a dream. Hand-sewn bags crafted by master French artisans inside spotless Paris ateliers. You picture a worker in a white coat, gently stitching leather as mellow jazz floats through the room, right? Well, that vision, completely bogus.
the finishing touches on a Kelly, the most difficult bag to build. It starts with 30 distinct cuts of leather and can take 20 hours to complete, 4 hours for just the handle. There are no manuals or cheat sheets. Artisans rely on their training and muscle memory to make every bag.
When that Chinese man got on his app and said all the luxury items are made in China and they only go to Italy to have the tag put on it, the designer tag, and once that designer tag is put on it, now it can say made in Italy because only that small little percentage was actually made in Italy, but that's all it takes to say made in Italy. Now it makes it over here to our designer boutiques and we're spending thousands upon thousands of dollars for something that was in fact made in China, not Italy. I don't care how much you're spending on the thing. Chances are it is coming from China. The only part that was actually made in Italy was when they put the designer tag on there. And this is why the wealthiest of wealthy people buy inspired by items. Why? Why would you spend the whole thing? Listen, I did a whole series on Birkins, and in one of the, you can see it in my like viral things I have pinned up there, but one of the videos was talking about the Birkin sort of like Tupperware party that all the wealthy Upper East Side women in New York have. They're not spending money on real Birkins. They're not shucking and jiving for Birkin. They call the people over in China and get the same. Yeah, so if you know, you know that people actually have Birkin connects direct to manufacturer. That's how they're getting them made. The wealthy people, the people who are not like going through the foolishness of the Birkin game, the people who could care less because they don't need to look rich. They're actually not trying to look rich because they are wealthy. That's the difference. Those are the people I'm talking about. But y'all,
leaked receipts and insider testimony uncovered by leather expert Tanner Leatherstein have detonated a bombshell across the luxury scene. As much as 80% of Hermès handbags never see a French workshop, they're mass-produced start to finish on bustling factory lines in China, not just a few spare parts. Hermès reportedly flies those nearly complete purses to France, snaps on a button or tiny trim, and presto, the tag can legally boast made in France. Once the Chinese factories began dumping documents and video proof, Hermès went into crisis mode, the house of exclusive French craft, suddenly unmasked as a serial outsourcer. Now, angry buyers everywhere are fuming, convinced they paid luxury prices for an elaborate con.
So Hermès has put out a response to China, and they have like a video in a factory sort of showing people trying to show that they're actually the ones who are making the bags in a factory somewhere in France.
And I paid $1,700 for these at the Gucci store. I found these online, man. $9.99 in China. $9.99. You know, and I wore these in my intro. And seeing what I'm seeing, how China exposed everything, it just really made me rethink of all the money that I threw away. After finding out what I just found out about the US and China, you know, I want to say I'm highly ticked off. I'm highly upset. 3 years ago, I paid $450 for these Gucci slides at the Gucci store right here in Houston, Texas. And now China done exposed the fact that these shoes right here only cost 75 cents to produce. You know what? Real Gucci slides. I'm done. You know, it's over here.
Meet Tanner Leatherstein, the nightmare luxury labels wish would just vanish. He isn't some random TikTok scroller. He's a leather guru with a gigantic fan base, and brands dread his next video. He's earned fame by one ruthless move, slicing open pricey designer purses on camera to reveal their guts. He was first to blast Chanel for swapping real gold with plastic-coated metal. Then he ripped into Louis Vuitton Bottega Veneta. And yes, Hermès too. So what did his scalpel uncover? The leather in these so-called prestige bags feels no better than what you'd score in a $100 knockoff. Worse, he exposed that crafting a Birkin doesn't gulp $14,000. Forget about $38,000, nowhere close. The brutal math, about 600 covers the leather and hardware, start to finish. Shoppers aren't shelling out for quality or artistry, they're buying a logo in a glossy daydream.
I've spent over $100,000 of my own money dissecting luxury bags, cutting them open, analyzing every stitch, every layer. Why?
Picture Hermès glued to their screens as the internet erupts. Viral TikToks rack up millions of views, and the truth races across feeds. The curtain is ripped away because those Chinese factories weren't churning out knockoffs. They were building the genuine articles. The very Birkins and Kellys that Hermès hawks for eye-watering sums were born overseas, and the whistleblowers showed every step. Roughly 80% of the job happens in China. Leather sliced, seams stitched, logos pressed. The bags then fly to France, where Hermès snaps on a tiny accent, stamps "Made in France," and sells the fantasy of flawless French craft. That glittering luxury kingdom was stacked on a fib, and now it's crumbling live, minute by minute.
This Birkin bag at Hermès boutique will cost you 38,000 USD. But what is the real cost out of the factory? Today, I'm going to break it down in front of you, step by step. First thing first, Hermès only used the leathers from the 3 top-level suppliers. The same leather as this one will cost 450 USD. And one piece of the leather is only enough to make one Birkin, okay? And next, thread. And of course, for Hermès Birkin, the thread is also the best top level. It's called Fil al Chinois from France. This is actually the Rolls Royce in thread. For each bag, the cost is 25 USD. And then the hardware. See, this hardware is called 316 hardware. It's also known as the ocean stainless steel because it can withstand the erosion of seawater. It's the best stainless steel. For one piece of bag, the hardware will cost 150 USD. The edge oil. This edge oil is imported from Italy. It's called heat seal edge oil. For each bag, it will cost 50 USD. The interior lining, it used lambskin imported from France. For each bag, the cost will be 100 USD. And also inside, there is a zipper from Riri brand. The zipper for one bag is 10 USD. And then the cost of human resource. Human resource cost will be 600 USD. Package. Now, this is not as expensive, it's 10 USD. So now, to sum those up, the total cost will be 1,400 USD for one Birkin out of factory. But why Hermès will charge you 38,000 USD for one bag? That's because more than 90% of the price is paid for its logo.
What does Hermès do when the truth spills? Do they own up? Offer an apology? Absolutely not. They lawyer up. The house is firing lawsuits at several Chinese workshops, screaming intellectual property theft and defamation. Translation: how dare you broadcast that our bags aren't born in France? But here's the kicker. Those very workshops were under contract, legally pumping out Hermès pieces. Now that they've spoken, Hermès pretends they've never existed, a corporate amnesia act that's almost comedic. Crunch the numbers. Hermès raked in $15.2 billion in 2024, millions of bags sold. If crafting one Birkin chews up 2 days, where is the phantom legion of French artisans? It just doesn't stack up. The whole thing smells like a swindle. And Hermès isn't the lone magician. Prada, Chanel, Louis Vuitton all played the same shell game. Whip up 98% of a piece in China, snap on a token part in Italy, and boom. Made in Italy dazzles the tag. That isn't luxury. It's a stage trick bought by shoppers who trusted the label over the truth.
The Chinese supplier behind product. Bags are from Siton Handbag in Dongguan City, Guangdong Province. It's a factory specializing in handbags for 54 years, and it produces 80% of the world luxury bags.
Which Chinese factory supplies for Louis Vuitton? Let me tell you the secret. Louis Vuitton have many Chinese suppliers, but they just don't admit it. 50% of the Louis Vuitton bag are from these two places, Guangzhou City and Dongguan City. 90% of Louis Vuitton silk is from Wanshili in Hangzhou City. I have a friend who's a manager in the factory of Louis Vuitton, and he told me that the similar quality one just needs $50. This is crazy, right?
As word spreads, resale prices are nosediving by the hour. Shoppers suddenly realize they shelled out $25,000 for a purse stitched in the very workshop that also knocks out $400 lookalikes. No wonder the secondary market is in free fall. Video after video from Tanner's scalpel sessions proves it. Bags promoted as fine calfskin are really wrapped in plastic-coated hides. Collectors are sweating bullets, and everyday buyers feel downright duped. Because if Hermès isn't selling genuine quality or mastercraft, what on earth did anyone pay for? A shimmering brand illusion. One gigantic lie dressed up in orange boxes.
Started making his boots in China, and that is these boots right here. This is pretty much the UGG boot that most Americans will have in their house. I was very pissed off when I found out the truth because I grew up in Southern California. I remember being in elementary school when I would only see 2 people in the entire school wearing UGG boots, and they were always the cool surfer kids.
For decades, luxury houses drilled the idea that a made in China tag shouts low grade, but that story is ancient history, a marketing fossil that's finally cracking. Modern Chinese factories churn out first-rate leather goods. Robotic laser cutters work beside seasoned artisans, armed with top-shelf hides, precision machines, and digital QC tech. Most high-end labels even share these production lines with mid-tier mall brands, and yes, with the very knockoffs they publicly condemn. Only the logo at the end changes. So when someone says a bag was built in China, it doesn't equal cheap. Many pieces quietly outclass the ones proudly stamped made in France, and that irony stings.
Most of those bags I cut open, just expensive, nothing special, but a few truly exceptional.
People now swap tales in private groups about scoring factory extras, logo-free totes and satchels identical to $1,000 designer versions, sold for a fraction. One creator even bragged her $5 UGG boots rolled off the exact conveyor as the official pairs, the only thing missing, the brand name and the sky-high price tag. Many of these labels sit inside private equity portfolios, pumping out overpriced goods for shoppers kept in the dark. Now that customers are waking up, the luxury sphere is flipping out.
Nothing is as humbling as your daughter drawing on your $60,000 Birkin, am I right?
Yeah. I couldn't even be mad at her because when I asked her, I was like, I wanted to see if she was going to tell me the truth. I was like, Coach, did you draw on mommy's purse?
Literally spent $60,000 on this purse. Look what my daughter did to my purse.
Time for truth. Luxury labels wouldn't reign supreme without stars parading their purses like victory medals. Do you honestly believe they're snapping up every Birkin or Chanel just for laughs? Most celebs never swipe a card. They're gifted or outright paid to flaunt the goods. It's called strategic placement. The brand slips Cardi B a glittering $60,000 tote. She blasts it on Instagram, and boom, the internet stampedes to the checkout. You think you're investing in elite fashion, but what you're really funding is pure celebrity buzz.
Pretty much where I keep all my purses. This one here is really special. If my house was on fire, I would take this one out of all of them.
Remember when Kylie Jenner flaunted that jaw-dropping wall of designer bags? But how many of those trophies did she actually pay for, and how many landed in her closet as VIP gifts? Even if her own card swiped the purchase, were those beauties really stitched in a dreamy French atelier or cranked out in a hidden workshop in Shenzhen?
I boxed my latest Hermès bag with me. This is my first bag I got this year. I usually get one bag a year, and this is the one for this year. And I'm really excited about it.
It's not only A-list stars anymore. Online influencers have jumped on the luxury bandwagon. TikTok and Instagram overflow with glossy unboxing clips, endless haul reels, and mountain-sized PR packages. Most of those goodies are freebies or paid promos, yet the creators pocket fat checks while telling you that owning a designer label is the only way to count.
I've been speaking to this client here regarding selling her Birkin 30 Gris Etain, if I'm not wrong. Grey Etain is the color, and it's palladium hardware. The bag is in box fresh condition, but it's Y stamp, which means it's a 2021 piece.
Meanwhile, luxury labels are raking in mountains of cash, turning $600 handbags into $26,000 must-haves just because they popped up on your scroll. Now, let's dissect the Birkin trap. At some point, owning this bag morphed into the ultimate badge of status. Yet here's the sting. Hermès won't hand one to just anyone. You can't stroll in and pluck a Birkin off the shelf first.
You know, you walk into Hermès and say, hey, I want to buy one of these. You know what they say to you? No, we don't have them. First of all, you have to be an Hermès customer. You have to demonstrate that you like the brand. And then you can only buy one per year.